those vegan guys. Thank you.
Has anyone else realised that today is Friday the 13th of December 2019? The day after the blue wave hit Britain. Obviously, I'm gonna gripe in this video, but the ending will be positive. I promise you that. Because if there's one thing I've learned not to do, it's wallow, because you can't. There's no point. There's absolutely no point. You know, this the Conservatives have won fair and square, and two things made that happen with the masses. This is the most terrifying part, and this is my belief from what I've seen and read and watched and heard and processed myself. Two things. Johnson constantly saying get Brexit done. That was the main one. And then a few days ago, and if I can find the article headline, I'll pop it here, maybe in a little picture of it, or just text, but it was something along the lines of immigrants shouldn't be coming here and making this their own country. Those two things that Boris Johnson said hit the hearts of so many British people, so that they voted for the Conservative Party. Do I blame people for being sick of the whole Brexit fiasco? No, absolutely not. It's been ridiculous. However, let's not forget that the entire Brexit campaign was led by lies. Some of those lies, the Brexit campaign had to pay huge fines in court for. One of them was £61,000 because they lied. And in this election, was it Fact Check was the actual organisation, an independent fact checker, worked out that 88% of Tory ads had been misleading and 0% of Labour. And then of course you've got the little boy sleeping on the hospital floor, and the picture of that, and you've got Johnson pushing that reporter's phone away and then taking it and hiding it in his pocket so he couldn't keep trying to force him to see the truth. You've got Johnson hiding in a fridge. You've got Johnson is doing a Trump. Get Brexit done is make America great again. I'll say that again because it's so important. Boris's get Brexit done was Trump's make America great again. So now there are two narcissist, lying, pathetic creatures, excuses for men, who are world leaders. My hometown, Oldham, is still Labour, which is a little slice of something in this madness that we all woke up to this morning. So yeah, I mean, you know, well done to Boris for playing to the lowest common denominator and getting them on his side with easily understandable mantras that fed into their intolerances and racisms and their fatigue with Brexit. Jason's gone to work this morning a little bit broken. He will no doubt deal with his feelings in his own way. He knows I'm there for him. Sometimes he just needs me to back off so that he can deal with things in his way. We get that. We've been together 23 years nearly. Me, I need to talk it out. I need to deal with it. I need to get it out my system. I need to cleanse it. We've handed Boris 5 years to run this country, and if we come crashing out of the EU now, before kind of the end of January, trust me when I say that's to do with the EU tax avoidance law, which comes into effect in January. But if he wants to do it right, with a good proper deal, then it's going to take time, and it may be another year, and we'll have a year of that EU tax avoidance law in this country, and it would be nice to see that shake things up a bit. I understand that people work full time, and when they get home from work they want to eat their tea and watch a box set and switch off because they have work again tomorrow, and they don't necessarily have the time to do masses of research into facts, into what's actually going on. But it's so important to do that. You can't just dismiss a headline because it says something negative about the person you plan to vote for. It's your duty to at least read that and find out where the source of information came from. Is it reliable? Is there pictorial or film evidence? Is there audio evidence of this thing that's being revealed to you? It's who are you to just ignore those things? This is obviously directed at anyone that did vote Tory. I'm absolutely gutted for Jeremy Corbyn, because I think he's a good bloke who's been on the right side of history for all of his career. And people say, well, terrorist sympathiser, he spoke to the IRA. Well, you have to talk to people to come up with things called peace deals. You know, check your history, look at facts. 88% of Tory propaganda in this election was aimed at undermining Labour. Hardly any of Labour's they stuck to here's what we will do, not here's what they won't do. It's been a filthy campaign ever since the referendum. And Boris was involved in that too, wasn't he? With all the lies and everything. So he appealed to the racists then, and then the country started to wake up and things were changing, and we were like, whoa, hang on a minute, Joe. And then he somehow managed to worm his way into the most important position in this country after all of those lies, and is now the duly elected Prime Minister for 5 years. And if you did that, if you were part of that blue wave, I would be interested to know if you're brave enough to write in the comments why it was you voted Tory, because what I see is that the underlying current was racism, immigration, crashing out the EU, because there's still a lot of people out there who believe that immigrants in this country from outside of the EU are somehow linked in with us being a member of the EU. I'll never forget, after the EU referendum, there was a news report there was a guy like just doing roving reporting in the street. I think it was Granada Reports or something, but it could have been bigger. It could have been something like ITV or Channel 4. I can't remember. I just remember this guy's words, and this reporter said to this guy, why did you vote to leave? And he said, well, I'm sick of all these Muslims coming over here. And the reporter said to him, you do understand that the EU has nothing to do with that, don't you? And he was flummoxed. So, I mean, I think asking for people to educate themselves about the facts, because, handing all of this power to this man for 5 years is as stupid as voting Trump in America, if not worse. And I was really hopeful that there was going to be a wave of people who had self-educated, which is your responsibility, by the way. It's nobody else's responsibility to educate you. That's one of the main problems these days, is that people expect spoon feeding. No, get off your ass. Stop playing a game on your phone. Read something. Educate yourself, even if it's uncomfortable to read. I read things where I'm so far removed from conservative, it's unbelievable. I still read articles that have a positive headline about conservatives, because I want to know what's going on politically in the country I live in. I want to be able to put my X in the box with an informed opinion, knowing exactly what I'm voting for. Not sticking to, oh, yeah, Brexit, yeah, Brexit. So what do we do? What do we Reds do? What do we non-conservatives do now? Well, we take it on the chin because we have to. There's no other way to deal with it. We try our very best to educate people, even though it's not our responsibility to, rather than being dismissive. I mean, I want to just turn my back forever and a day on anyone who voted Conservative, but I know that some of them, many of them, too many of them, voted Conservative because they didn't know what else to do. They just wanted Brexit done because they voted for it back then, and that's all they focused on. What can you do, guys, when your well is like watering? Buy a new pair, was the old northern saying. Yeah, we've got to keep being the good people we are, keep reaching out to other people. I mean, it just says something about veganism, really, because if all the information is so widely available now about candidates and elections, and people are still choosing to ignore that, of course they're not going to watch a slaughterhouse video and wake up to the abhorrent behaviour, the abhorrent lives that animals suffer to get onto the plate, or to be milked continually for 4 years, or to be crushed alive or gassed, or, you know, of course because they're, it's like that film Network, isn't it? 1976, amazing film, where he says, you know, the news reporter who's going through some kind of breakdown, or wake up, whichever way you choose to look at it, kind of says to the people who are watching him, you know, I know what you're thinking. You just want to be left alone in your home with your radio and your TV and your TV dinner, but no, you're a part of this world too, and you have to wake up to what's going on in your name, with your consent, that you X'd for, you actually chose. And I feel bad for people, because I know that kids and grandkids who are not quite old enough yet to understand what's happened. This has been one of the biggest elections this country has ever had, ever. And when people look back on it and they see the campaign that Labour ran and the campaign that Conservatives won and ran, and they're going to ask their parents and grandparents, who did you vote for in that election? Because I've read it, I've seen it. It was horrible. What the Conservatives did throughout the entire campaign was horrible, and Labour were really trying to make a better world. What did you vote? Are you going to lie or tell them, yeah, I voted Conservative because I wanted Brexit done? I'm sick of those immigrants coming over here treating this like their country. You know, when you move somewhere, it becomes your country, don't you? That's kind of the point in it. Just like the millions of people from Britain who live all around the world. A huge cluster in Spain, and that's their home now. You see, you can't have it one way and not the other. This is the problem. People don't analyse their own thoughts, behaviours and actions or feelings. They don't think, right, so if it's good for, do you know what I mean? They don't break it down or really analyse it. Why do I think it's okay for Brits to live in Spain but not the other way around? They do. People don't analyse themselves. Many of us clearly do. I do it all the time. Like, why do I feel that? Why do I think that? Why was I supporting Labour in this election? Because I believed in the manifesto, and because I believed that it was time for change, and that it would be for the better. That's why. Anyway, you know what, guys? It's nearly crumble. It's actually nearly crumble. So from this point forward, let's get back to the Christmas vlogs and start talking about Christmas bits. Ooh, loads of Christmas bits. You have, of course, got the Queen's speech, the alternative Queen's speech on this channel on Christmas Day, time to be announced. And I'm very pleased to let you know that the vegan queens have been chatting about doing a weekly review show, just like a world review show. And they've decided they're going to start doing that in 2020, and it's going to be called Frock the Week. Stuart WhatsApped me from Tenerife. He was like, that show we're doing, how about Frock the Week? I was like, yeah, done, named, done. So I love you guys. I know that there's a lot of love from you guys to us. That matters hugely. Clinging to that right now. I feel bad that people have decided to go this way, but it's done. What's done is done. Let's enjoy Christmas. Let's look forward to a great 2020 together on our little journeys towards our better selves, and with lots of content from those vegan guys and the vegan queens. Yes, I was talking to Hedge Rider, Brain Girl, this morning, and as she was saying, Scotland might be going, you know, jumping in with the Indy-Ref now, getting independence. Ireland will probably do the same. Going to end up this little tiny stupid little place in the middle of all these lovely cultural places we've always been connected to. Like that will be. That'll be nice, won't it? Should we all buy a commune? Should we just like buy a field or something? Like Kenny Everett said years ago, round them up, put them in a field and bomb the bastards. That's what they do with us, isn't it? Oh, any road. Wanted to get this one done early today. Let's finish it with a smile, guys. Bloody love you all. Let's, you know, we've got each other, and that's what matters. Let's be the change we want to see in the world. I'm there, you're there. Let's do it together. Be excellent to your neighbour. Be excellent to yourself and each other. And once again, he's waffled so much his coffee's gone cold. Me. It's a good job you listen, bless yous.
Really hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do like and subscribe, it helps us out loads.
It really does. And check down there in the description because you'll find loads of links. The 2 ways that you can best support us to keep this channel going are through becoming a patron on our Patreon down there in the description, or buying our merch, darling. Fabulous link down there. We deal with a fabulous vegan company called Vegan Original. Check it out, guys.